of that game is, or those games are like side content, and like I typically ignore a lot of side content, or at least like kind of do a little bit, but don't like spend a ton of time on it. But it depends. For some reason, I'm trying to get all the endings in First Kiss Story. I don't know why. So. Alright, well, we'll see how far we can get. Maybe we can beat another one of these dungeon things. I feel like we might not have enough time, but we'll see. Maybe if I play carefully and quickly. Which I'm sure those two things go very well together, careful and quick. It won't be so bad. Yeah, I 100%ed Skies of Arcadia for the most part. Yeah, I think I did 100% it. I wonder if I'm gonna have clothes this time, or if I'm gonna be naked again. Wink. Into the dungeon we go. But yeah, I just don't have time to 100% like a JRPG. But there are games that I do want to like spend a lot of time. Like I really want to finish all the story stuff in Fatal Bullet for some reason. And you know, I haven't really like I've spent like 75 hours in Fatal Bullet, but I feel like that's not a ton of time. But just because of how I play games, also my hair is flying up. Just because of how I play games, it's taken me like a year to get through Fatal Bullet. It feels like I don't remember when that came out and when I got it, but yeah, I want to finish Valkyria Chronicles. So my goal this year is to finish Valkyria Chronicles 4 by June. Is that right? June is 6? Yes. By June, or at least during June. And then I want to start Final Fantasy 15 by July. And I want to finish Final Fantasy 15 by the end of the year. Which I know it doesn't sound like a terribly hard goal, but with JRPGs and stuff, you know, I try to play stuff in between while I'm doing them too. So, but that's what's been great about like streaming, is like I can really kind of force myself to play stuff that I typically wouldn't be playing. I am not streaming Final Fantasy 15 though. Okay, let's not get hurt, because we don't really have a lot of health. I actually don't have a lot of health right now either. I don't know if that's I don't know if intentional is the word I'm looking for, but like I don't know if that's left over from the last time I was in the trials or what. Do I have anything from the last trials? Doesn't look like it. I think because I only start with like a certain amount of hearts, that's probably like it seems like my heart count up here in the top left corner matches the heart count I have in the main game. So that's probably, ow, that was a bad idea. I should drop bombs. Although, is this gonna fly up? Almost. Okay, nothing in there. How do I throw this again? Nope. Nope. Goodbye. Oh, I got caught on fire, dang it. Oh well, I got some arrows. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Do I have any weapon right now? I don't even know. Max. Stay away from me. Oh, I got hit by that second hit. I'm surprised I did not get hit by that first hit. This is a great start. I may just die immediately. See some fruit in the corner over there. Is that from my box? Yeah, give me that fruit. Good start. As in, absolutely awful, but that's okay. There's a treasure chest over there, though. Oh, did it fall down? Yep. Alright. Yeah, it really depends on the game. I do play a lot of like I probably put like a good 100 hours into God Eater whenever we get, or like Monster Hunter style games whenever we get around to playing those. Man, I played Dragon Quest Heroes 2 and I played a lot of post game content in that, and that was oh, hello. I want that. That sure was an adventure. I don't think I can just like bounce up there, can I? Oh, maybe not. No. I feel like the height on this just isn't where it needs to be for me. There we go. Okay. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 is like a great 40-hour game, but then if you start trying to do any post-game content, it becomes incredibly grindy. It's pretty much just like, I probably spent about 60 hours of Dragon Quest Heroes 2 doing like 3 boss fights over and over again, trying to get like good times, and then just grinding materials and mini medals. That's pretty much all of Dragon Quest Heroes 2's end game, which kind of sucked. But, you know, I mean, it was fun enough, you know, but I mean, it's also like one of those things where it's like I was playing with friends, so at some point it's just gonna be fun for playing with friends, you know. All right, let's take a more serious attempt at this real quick. I feel like after I lost my 2 sets of hearts, I was just like, yep, I'm good. I'm dead, probably. I probably shouldn't have gone for those crates. I probably should have just waited. Okay. Load time to get back in here is not particularly quick either. Because I think you watch this cutscene every time. Although I could probably skip the cutscene. Yeah, I can. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's a point in time where I was like, I'm going to beat Valkyria Revolution, and spent like a whole weekend just playing the last 20 hours of that game because I was desperate to just be done with it. Okay. Ow. I didn't really want you to do that to me. I don't think anything comes out of there of value, so. I think I could break these by throwing them. Yeah. Rather than risk blowing that barrel up. Alright, let's go down to this dude. Oh. Oh. Ah! Oh no! I shouldn't have fought him that way. And I shouldn't have done that either. Alright. Oh jeez. Everything's going great already. I don't know if we're gonna beat this tonight. Admittedly, this is the middle version, so I guess it is gonna be harder. Alright. Part of me is like, let's not go get the swords, but I also don't really have any bows and arrows at the moment. Oh, whoops, don't do that. There we go. Get that flame arrow. Oops. Let me up. I don't really know if this is how you're supposed to do this or not. It seems like it pops you up just enough that you can kind of climb on. There we go. Valkyria Revolution is a game most people do not like very much. There are some interesting things about it. You know, I think what's interesting about Valkyria Revolution is that it's a game that tries to do a lot in terms of its storytelling and gameplay, and probably doesn't exactly do the greatest job of representing those things. And you know, it is like, it doesn't have the budget of Valkyria Chronicles 4, so it is very like dang it. It is very like grindy in the same way Valkyria Chronicles 2 is, but it didn't bother me that much because a lot of that game is kind of like I'd say maximizing like your, or like, I don't know, like learning how to diffuse soldiers and put them in states like fear and shock, and then using that to your advantage, and then like, you know, paying attention to the elemental attributes of each character and what types of weapons deal the most damage to them and things like that. So it's, a lot of people compare it to a Muso game. I really don't see it. I think that exact same thing happened last time. I really don't see the Muso game part of it. It's difficult for me because I think the reason why people compare it to a Muso game is because there is an auto attack in that game, or not an auto attack, but like a melee attack in that game, which is a weird melee attack as is. You press it once and it attacks 3 times. So it's not really like your traditional hack and slash game, at least in terms of how it controls. And so most people will just like spam X on enemies, and that can get you through, you know, parts of that game, especially the early goings. But later on, you'll find that like if you sit there and just like spam X on somebody, they're pretty much going to be almost fully resistant to your damage. So yes, you can sit there and like hit X on somebody 10 times, and eventually it will kill them. But what you really want to do is use your smoke grenades. You can have guns that like are louder, and so they cause more fear in enemies and stuff, and then you can like use grenades to like break the enemy formation. And like it sounds really cool in concept, but when you actually are doing it, it's not quite maybe the it's not quite the maybe not quite what people... moved too soon. There we go. Maybe it's not quite what people were looking for. I think, dang it, I took the fall damage. I forgot. I'm doing a really bad job. Yeah, but then people say that game doesn't have strategy is the thing. And I kind of see where they're coming from. You know, it's definitely a different type of strategy than Valkyria Chronicles, but it's definitely not just a hack and slash game. But you could definitely try to play it that way, and you may have some success, you know. I'm doing great. I'm gonna guess we're not gonna beat this tonight, but maybe it'll be an interesting challenge to try to beat. We'll see. So I mean, it's one of those things that it's like, it's not the person. It's definitely not the person. It's the same way that I feel like with Castlevania 64, where that game has a reputation for a reason. You know, there are things about Castlevania 64 that are not forgiving, and like they don't really explain a lot of things in that game, and a lot of what makes Castlevania 64 fun is I think stuff you just kind of figure out by playing. It takes experience, weirdly enough, and so like that's gonna be a really hard thing to talk about when I make a video. So yeah, Valkyria Revolution, it doesn't ask a lot of you at the beginning of the game, and I think over time, I think you could probably argue that it doesn't really ask a lot of you towards the end too. You can very easily start exploiting like some of the stuff later on, where like oh, why did I fall? You can very easily start exploiting some of the stuff later on, to make it incredibly easy to play through. Like there's a boss fight in that game that was literally just me casting the same spell over and over again, and I had such a an advantage in battle. So in addition, in battle, there's like these there's like a bar on top of the screen that goes back and forth depending on who has, it's morale is what it is. So what side has more morale? Damn it. What side has more morale? Use this sword to just murder everyone. And so the more morale you have, the faster your actions are. I need to really, really careful about fall damage. I keep doing that without thinking about it. I actually have a good amount of stuff right now. Okay. Break. Okay, not breaking. Break. Break. I also should be very careful because that guy's shooting arrows at me. Okay. I wonder if I could break these by picking them up and then dropping them. Oh no, that's time stop. I can't pick those up. Okay. And yeah, so there's just there's very interesting things about that game, but I think it takes a lot of time to figure it out. And I think the implementation's not particularly great at times. Like I said, there's an entire boss fight where I just cast the same spell. And then on the flip side, if it's very hard to build morale in battles, and so some boss fights become incredibly tedious as you just get kind of stuck where you can't really build morale, you can't really, you know, resolve the situation. So you just have this super long, grindy boss fight with the boss. There's a boss I spent probably about like an hour fighting because I refused to quit because I had done enough damage where I didn't want to quit. I felt like those were breaking earlier when I was throwing them against the walls. There it goes. I refused to quit after spending like an hour on the fight, and just kept going. And I should have quit way before and decided not to do that. Okay. Okay, we're going to eat this food that we got. Because I don't think we're going to beat this tonight, but I want to get further than this room tonight. Which sucks because all this is like raw materials that we just are going to... should be cooking with later, but, you know, here we are. Alright. But I just want to see more of this dungeon. Yeah, so, I mean, Valkyria Revolution is like a super interesting game that I don't know if it was a spin-off or a relaunch of the series, because, like, Sega didn't have a lot of confidence in Valkyria Chronicles. You know, I mean, you saw it immediately with, you know, how the second game went to PSP. Like, they didn't want to put the budget into another full release or anything, you know? God damn it! Give me your sword. I'm just getting frustrated now. Yeah. So like, yeah, there wasn't a lot of confidence in the Valkyria Chronicles brand. Valkyria Chronicles 3 didn't even come out here. You know, it was fan translated, thankfully, but. So I really think that they weren't planning on doing another Valkyria Chronicles 4 per se. It didn't seem like it was worth it at the time. But a weird thing happened that when they were making Valkyria Revolution, they did a remaster of Valkyria Chronicles 1, and it sold really, really well. Like they were like, there's this press release they put out where there's like, we were completely blown away. We did not expect this to sell. anywhere near the number of units it did. And you know, about 3 years after that re-release came out on PC, you know, Valkyria Chronicles 4 showed up. And so I think that Valkyria Revolution, you know, this was about a year before Valkyria Revolution got localized at least. But I think Valkyria Revolution was a way to revitalize the brand, and then they found out, whoops, maybe we just didn't give this series the attention it needed to be successful, which I think anybody could have told you that. Okay, let me not fall this time, please. I think anybody could have told you that at the time. I'm worried this chest's gonna fall on my head. Okay. All right. Shoot your thing. I'm gonna get my sword, and we're gonna go kill all those guys. You're dead. You're dead. And make sure you die over there. Alright. We'll get this. Although I think that guy can shoot me from here. So I should probably be very careful. Well, no more arrows. So yeah, I really think that game was supposed to be the new Valkyria Chronicle, or Valkyria. But then they just kind of were like, oh, whoops. Maybe we should have sold this game better. I think 4 did okay. I mean, it did drop in price pretty quickly, I feel like. But you know, I don't think they were blown away by sales, maybe. But you know, I don't think they spent a lot of money on 4 either. You know, it's really weird because I think Valkyria Chronicles or Valkyria Revolution like had like its own engine and everything, and was like built from the ground up, I believe. Admittedly, it was made for the Vita as well, so you know that comes with its own, you know, limitations, and you know the ability to, you know, drop the budget in some places. Like Valkyria Revolution is not a high budget game. There's definitely cutscenes where people are just staring away from you at all times because they don't want to animate their mouths. And then like very PSP level character models at times with some of the side characters and things like that. But Valkyria Chronicles 4, as far as I know, is built off the Valkyria Chronicles 1 engine that was ported to PC and stuff. Like, as far as I understand, that game's pretty much just running on that engine still. So Valkyria Revolution went to PlayStation Vita. Valkyria Chronicles 4 did not. So I don't think the US version of Valkyria Revolution came out on Vita. I think it just came out on PS4 and Xbox One. All right. Hey, don't drop your sword, please. Thank you. All right. Improvements. All right. I don't think I've taken any damage yet. I could be wrong. Oh no. Come back here. I want you. I want the drumstick. Why is it so hard? Alright. Okay, Hylian shrooms. I want to use up some of these other weapons. But yeah, I really like Valkyria Revolution. I think it's fantastic that, like, it's not, I don't know if it's really a spoiler, but like, I really like that the beginning of the game is just like, hey man, everybody in this story dies. Like, it's just like a pretty good opening. Not everybody, but the key character in that story dies, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff happening story wise too. It's a lot about like the game being like a lot about morale management. It's a lot about, you know, manipulating the morale of the people of the country and good and bad ways. You know, you know, I will always, and same with the game. Like the implementation is not always great, but it does a fantastic job of like working its themes into every part of its design, and then also like it probably feels like the most expansive story in the series, I feel like, because it's a very like it's very focused on it's very focused on not only the people of your squad, but also, you know, you kind of have like these different layers. You have, and I'm not going to pay too much attention because I'm not going to beat this dungeon by the end of the night. But it sounds like you like basically you have like your base squad, and you're kind of the leader of that squad, and then you're a part of a group who then that group tentacles out into all these different organizations which have their own politics that essentially support a big, like essentially supporting the government of your country, which then your country has its politics with other countries, and then there's this big enemy, basically, you know, in the context of that story, basically Russia kind of thing, you know, that expands their story out, and they have like a whole set of characters, whole set of plots, and you just get these cutscenes on very personal levels that talking about like very high level stuff and what's happening in the story, like just like the power struggles between all these countries and stuff, in a way that Valkyria Chronicles never really touches on. Like Valkyria Chronicles is more about the people that are there, and there is definitely a plot. I don't know how to get this treasure chest properly. There's very clearly a way to do this, and I'm very much missing it. Like I'm trying to do what I did before, but I probably shouldn't bother with this. All right. Well, let's just leave it be. There's just, oh man, I love that game so much. I sometimes think about making a video about it because I have a bunch of footage, but also it's actually kind of not very good footage because I recorded at a time where I was having some audio issues, and so I could fix it, but it just would take a lot of time. Maybe, like, I don't know, because I don't really get the height like on the other one. Can I, is this like a, do I go up anywhere over here? Like, it all feels like the same level of like this, so like when I do this, I like bounce up a little bit. But that's like the highest point in the room as far as I can tell. Oh well, I'm not gonna worry about it. I have no idea where that is. Is it back at the start? I think that's where I started, wasn't it? Anyways, yeah, that game has a lot of really interesting stuff. The art design's kind of bad, though. And again, like it doesn't... Yeah, I don't think that's how I'm supposed to do it, but I could be wrong. Sorry, which game's characters or vigilantes? I assume we're still, that's Valkyria Chronicles. I just don't know if we're talking about Valkyria Chronicles or Valkyria Revolution. Alright, I'm nice and dying. Oh, nice and dead. Oh. It's hard for me to put a lot of effort into it. Valkyria Revolution, you're talking about the vigilantes? Yeah, so, yeah. I guess you could say they're vigilantes. They have an interesting arc. It's really just a revenge plot. is what it is, but it's like a revenge plot where the person actually gets revenge. Like that's kind of the end goal, is to like I feel like, and they do have kind of like a revelation at some point in the story, but it never stops being about getting revenge on certain people in a way that I feel like most stories will eventually be like, oh, this isn't about revenge anymore. Oh, you are right. I'm sorry. It is cut off. I didn't even realize that. Thank you. I don't know how long we've been streaming this for, but there you go. I forgot to change it from 4x3 mode from Spy Fiction. All right, let's try this one more time. Sorry, I was not paying much attention. You're fine. I should have noticed. You know, probably one of the worst things I ever did was there was a period of time when I was playing Yakuza that I did not check the audio at all. Which admittedly, I'm not really checking the audio for this game either, which I really should. I want these mushrooms though. Give me these mushrooms, man. Give me these mushrooms. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, I want to get the what's it called? The sword. There was a period of time I was playing Yakuza 2, and I was not checking the audio, and then one day I was playing, and like an hour into the stream, Anthony showed up and was like, "Hey, dude, your audio is all jacked up," and like it was basically like an hour of me, of just like static, essentially. So that was great. Sometimes that stuff happens. I missed it. Oh well. Did I get the bow at least? No, I didn't. Alright. The sword is what really matters. I think that guy's gonna start shooting at me. I feel like I hear him over there grumbling. Yep. Bah. Break. Okay. Okay, he's dead. But yeah, that was good. So I've been pretty good about checking my audio, but I gotta figure out a different solution because I use OBS to capture as well when I'm capturing games. So every time I capture games, I want to turn the audio back up so it's, you know, I don't know if accurate's the word, but you know, at the level it should be for capturing games. And then every time I stream, I have to turn it back down. And then, you know, like it differs per console and what the output is and everything. So it's just not always easy to tell what's going on audio wise. It's not just one girl. It's basically a race of people. So there's all these arrows, man. I shouldn't bother with them. We're not going to make it anyways. So basically there's a race of people called the Valkyria, I think they're called. Basically they're people with like azure flame powered things. So they're blue flames. And they are, where's the thing? There it is. They are just superpowered people, and so every game has a azure person, but they're always different. Sometimes there's multiple. Valkyria Chronicles 2 has a kind of a twist on it. There is one in there, but there's like a bunch of other stuff happening as well in relation to that. But it usually is just a single super powerful person, and they're usually not really like they're usually someone being exploited in some way, less so than being a bad person. Valkyria Revolution is actually kind of different in that regard, though, where it's kind of like it's kind of somebody being exploited, but they're also still kind of bad. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, part of what I like about Valkyria Revolution is it doesn't really stick itself to a lot of the tropes of the Valkyria series. Like, something you'll see in Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 2 a lot is the idea of the Darksons, which is basically like their version of, I guess, like Jewish people, you know, being, you know, like within Germany, you know, getting, you know, Holocaust stuff, basically. Darksons are basically frowned upon, and people are racist against them, except for the good people because they're good and shouldn't be racist, basically. Your usual let's do race story stuff in video games. Oh, I didn't knock him down. But yeah, so a lot of Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 2 is about Darksons, and, you know, at some point it gets kind of tiring. and yeah, I don't know. That being said, I like Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 2 a lot, but... Oh, I should say Valkyria Chronicles 2. It's been so long since I played Valkyria Chronicles 1, I don't really remember it super well, but I did like it a lot at the time, at least, so... So 1 and 2, it definitely plays a big role. I don't know about 3, and in 4, they definitely talk about it to some extent. It definitely plays a role because there's this whole like relationship tree between characters and stuff, and sometimes somebody's like a Darkson hater, and so you don't want to pair them with somebody who's a Darkson because then they hate each other all the time. Well, there goes his bow. Oh, there goes my body. Valkyria Chronicles 4, yeah, it's mentioned, but it doesn't really seem to be like this focus of the plot, as far as I can tell, because I have only played probably about, you know, oh boy, it's shooting at me. I've only played probably about 15-20 hours of Valkyria Chronicles 4, unfortunately, so I don't know, maybe it eventually gets there. 2 is a kind of a different thing because there's a lot of repeated maps. It is a very grindy game, but it has a lot of very personal stories, which Valkyria Chronicles 1 doesn't really have. Valkyria Chronicles 1 is very focused on the main characters, and you know, each character has, you know, bits of personality and stuff. So you know, it definitely, you know, isn't. Oh boy, something's shooting ice at me. That dude up there. Okay. Okay. So Valkyria Chronicles 1 is very much about the central cast, and then Valkyria Chronicles 2 does have a central cast and story, but it's largely about the relationships you build with people and like their little side stories. There's a lot of them, and that's what makes the grinding worth it in that game. See, dude, I probably should have just killed him, but I didn't want to do it that way. Have a little fun blowing up the balloons. But yeah, so yeah, it's definitely a part of that series. So what do I want to do? I guess I want to shoot this down, probably, and let it slide off down here. There we go. So Valkyria Chronicles 2 is a very, and because it's like set in a high school kind of thing, it has a very, you know, distinctly, you know, slice of life vibe to it that I kind of appreciated. Like, I was not into the idea of Valkyria Chronicles 2 originally, but it really grew on me over time, and I'm a little, it's hard to say whether I like 3, 2, or I'm having a hard time thinking. It's kind of hi Anthony, I didn't realize that was you. I thought Zero was talking about the racism stuff. What was I saying? I'm still, because I haven't beaten 4, I'm kind of not sure if I like it better than 2, because 4 is a nice mix. It does both the central cast and the side characters at once. Oh boy, this is not what I want to do right now. All right, it does a good job of mixing those two together. Although I feel like the side stories aren't as fleshed out as they were in Valkyria Chronicles 2, which is a little disappointing. I'm not really sure what to do about this right now. mean, that definitely hurt it. Okay, this is a safe spot. But I really don't have a lot of options. Other than just, I guess I could just kind of fly up and drop bombs on them. Maybe? Not really. Let's see, maybe we can do this. This feels like a huge waste of arrows, but maybe that's what I gotta do to make this work. Oh, 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 oh! I need to get my stamina back. Oh, get your stamina back! Please! Thank you. You can reflect beams, I just don't know how to do it well. Also, I have like no health, so I'm going to die immediately if I try to. There's probably a treasure chest in here somewhere. Let me take a little scout of the room. There are some explosives. I don't know how I'm going to get them over there, though. I don't know if I can knock... Oh, there's a treasure chest right there. I don't know if I can knock it into him or... Oh, this treasure chest's on one of the little platform things, so I don't know if I can be able to get it because I'm terrible at this. Okay, there we go. Oh, apparently you can just burn those things. That's probably how you're supposed to get them. Nope. Nope. This split. Well, we got further than the first room. But I don't see any way we're beating this tonight. And I still gotta go to work tomorrow. So we may revisit this next week. We'll see. It's like I feel like it's a good it's fine. I'm playing this really poorly. I feel like it's a good post spy fiction game though, because spy fiction can leave a random amount of time left afterwards. With spy fiction more productive, I beat a mission. It took me almost 2 hours, but I beat it. So I think it is a good pair of spy fiction, because sometimes spy fiction missions are like 40 minutes long. Sometimes they're nearly 2 hours long. So I really can't plan like a 30-minute gap at the end like I usually do. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening to me talk about Valkyria Chronicles for way too long. I like that series a lot. I will be getting back to 4 soon. Very soon, hopefully. Oh, cool. Congrats on raising your mag. I really should set that up too. I really want to play episode 4 still. I've never played episode 4. And honestly, every time I start Blue Burst, I just burn out immediately, because to get to episode 4, you have to basically get to like level 25 or something, I think. I think you can get there by like level 20 or something. It's reasonable to get there. But like level-wise, if you want to solo it, you need to be relatively like higher level. So I kind of like the idea of just being like, I'm just going to level up. All right, I'm level 30. Let's go do this episode 4 content. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'll need to try installing it at some point, and then try to find the time to do it. I mean, I don't know if I want to grind PSO, boy. Oh, PSO grinds. It'd be different if I still had my characters or something. I've probably started Blue Burst like 4 times now, and I always just lose interest like around level 10. Like around level 8, level 10 or something. And so inevitably I end up going to a different server, or my character gets wiped at some point and I go back and have to start over. But in 11 my progress doesn't go away. At least not until the server's shut down for good. So like I'm still building. Me and Anthony play games once in a blue moon. It hasn't happened very often. We played A Way Out together, which was fun. And then we played a little bit of Smash Brothers together, but I think we both fell off of Smash Brothers, as far as I can tell. I don't know if you're still playing Smash Brothers or not, Anthony. It sounds like you're not, though. You know how I feel about PSO. I've spent enough time over the years talking about my weird feelings. My weird feelings about PSO. But yeah, I have a few multiplayer groups at this point, but the problem is it's just there's not a lot of time between them. So usually it's just whoever is most proactive about asking me about playing games. And that's almost always the Monster Hunter group, basically, I guess you could call it. Which there's like 2 of us or 3 of us, and we usually play like God Eater and stuff like that. And then my group that used to play PUBG with, they asked me to play Apex, and they got me to start playing Dead by Daylight and stuff. And then so Anthony is probably the next one I play the most with after that. And then after that, I probably play with my friend Tim. And then after that, I probably play with my brother-in-law, Daryl. So, and then I also have another friend who wants to play Splatoon 2, but I never play Splatoon 2, so I haven't played Apex anytime recently. I pretty much played that night that I did those 3 kills, and then and yeah, I'm trying to be more open about playing multiplayer games with people. Like there's a good while where I kind of shut people out from playing multiplayer. I did hold a Splatoon group for a while during that time, though. That's maybe the one exception. But like, I don't know. I want to be friendly, and I want to play games with people, and I like doing it. But it's also very tiring, and it takes a lot of time. And I think that's part of why this stream is nice, is because I have an excuse to tell people no to playing video games. Because I'm like, no man, I got to stream, and they're like, why? And I'm like, because I gotta stream. so it's a great excuse to do it. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it, Anthony. Maybe we'll play PSO. Send me the website for them and what you downloaded and stuff. If it's easy enough, I can at least set it up. Yeah, it's a battle royale game. So it's okay. I'm enjoying it for the most part. Yeah, the problem is the group I was in with Splatoon, I had a very bad falling out with one of the people in that group, and it kind of splintered me off for the rest of that group. So I basically just got kind of kicked out of the group for very personal reasons for Splatoon, unfortunately. So I do have one friend who still likes to play Splatoon that wants to play Splatoon with me. But it just doesn't happen very often. So, but yeah, I mean, that was a while ago, so I've gotten over it, and I totally understand it. Like, I totally understand the other people in that group and the decision they made, or rather, I'm not saying that I appreciate the decision that they were like, hey, let's just kick this dude out because he is the lesser of the 2 people that is having trouble. So therefore we will keep the one person, but not the other person. But I mean, they were closer friends than I were, definitely. And you know, I would consider them friends as well, but it's definitely, it's a bit harder when they start trying to isolate you because of someone else, basically, and stop wanting to do things with you. So, but hey, let's not talk about that. Game over. I'm not streaming anymore. let's call it a night. But yeah, I'll follow up with you, Anthony, on the what's it called? You probably just have to add an exception or something. But yeah, I don't really care what server it is. I don't know how much time I'll put into it, especially since it's like, you know, unless it's like you can also back up your save data or something, then I might be more interested in that. But I'm gonna guess because it's server side, there's not really a way to do that at the moment. So I don't know. We'll see. I do want to play through episode 4 though, so I am interested. That's it. Thanks for coming. I guess more spy fiction. Oh, you can't offload your save. That's good. Okay, I'm more interested now. um, yeah, thanks for coming. More spy fiction next week. Hopefully we beat Billy's story soon. I don't know if we want to play through the other girl's story too. Playing on television. I don't know if we want to play through the other girl's story too. So we'll see. I don't really know. I'm sure it'll be faster if I play through her because I think they're the same levels and stuff. But yeah, I'm also touching the screen, so it thinks I'm trying to change between gamepad and TV. Yeah, so my number 9 video is up on YouTube. So if you're watching this afterwards, because I think you two may have already seen it. That's up on YouTube. I was very surprised that people didn't hate me for it, or at least I haven't gotten any hate for it. So I don't know if it's the same story or not. You can play as a different character, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's the same missions, but different paths to those missions, because it seems like the girl can disguise herself as ladies so they can go to different places and things like that. So yeah. So my number 9 video is up, and then Shaman King video is basically edited. So that's not coming out till the end of March. Is that right? Yeah, end of March. And then I'm working on Gun Gauge next.